Kalpana Chawla, the Indian-American astronaut and aerospace engineer, tragically lost her life on February 1, 2003, at the age of 41, when Space Shuttle Columbia disintegrated during its return to Earth, ending her second space mission just 16 minutes before landing. On that Saturday morning, Columbia began its planned descent after a 16-day mission, traveling at more than 17,000 miles per hour as it entered the upper atmosphere, while Chawla and the 6 other crew members sat strapped inside, calmly following routine procedures, unaware that fatal damage had already been done. The chain of events had begun 2 weeks earlier, on January 16th, when a large piece of foam insulation broke away from the external fuel tank during launch and struck the left wing, silently cracking the shuttle's heat shield system, a risk that was known but judged as non-critical. As Columbia plunged back toward Earth, superheated gases, hotter than molten lava, forced their way through the unseen breach, eating into the wing's internal structure, causing sensors to fail one after another as mission control received confusing data. Within minutes, the wing lost its strength, the shuttle began to lose control, and at approximately 9 a.m. Eastern Time, Columbia broke apart high above Texas, turning into burning fragments visible from the ground, instantly taking the lives of Kalpana Chawla, Rick Husband, William McCool, Michael Anderson, David Brown, Laurel Clark, and Ilan Ramon. The official investigation later confirmed that the crew had no warning and no chance to survive, and that the disaster resulted from foam impact damage combined with critical failures in safety judgment, grounding the Space Shuttle program for years and marking one of NASA's darkest moments. While Kalpana Chawla's life ended not in failure, but in the pursuit of human knowledge beyond Earth. Sally Ride, the pioneering American astronaut and physicist, passed away on July 23, 2012, at the age of 61, after a 17-month private battle with pancreatic cancer, a disease she chose to confront quietly and away from public attention. Diagnosed in 2011, she underwent extended medical treatment that included surgery and intensive therapy, continuing to work privately as her physical strength gradually declined. In her final weeks, her condition worsened steadily rather than suddenly, leading her to remain at her home in La Jolla, California, where close family stayed with her as her health faded step by step. On the morning of Tuesday, July 23rd, her body could no longer sustain the long fight, and she passed away peacefully at home, with no public statements released until after her death, closing a chapter defined by privacy and control. Long before that quiet ending, Sally Ride had made history in June 1983, when she became the first American woman in space, flying aboard Space Shuttle Challenger at just 32 years old, a moment that reshaped public perception of women in science and space exploration. She returned to space again in 1984, becoming the first American woman to fly twice, and later played a critical role in improving space safety by serving on the presidential investigation panels following the Challenger and Columbia shuttle disasters. Ilan Ramon, Israel's first astronaut and decorated fighter pilot, tragically lost his life on February 1, 2003, during the final moments of Space Shuttle Columbia's return to Earth, a disaster that unfolded silently but inexorably over Texas. 16 days after launch, the shuttle began re-entry, carrying Ramon and 6 fellow crew members, unaware that a small piece of insulating foam had struck the shuttle's left wing at liftoff, creating a hidden breach that would turn fatal. As Columbia plunged into the upper atmosphere, friction and heat focused on that damaged wing, weakening its reinforced carbon panels in a way no one could stop. At first, the shuttle shuddered subtly, a vibration almost imperceptible, but within seconds, control became unstable. Sensors registered erratic movements, the shuttle began to yaw, and alarms sounded in the cockpit. Ramon and the crew, trained for emergencies, could not react fast enough. The damage had already begun a chain reaction. The wing's internal structure melted under superheated plasma, sending the shuttle into uncontrollable spins. and in moments, the orbiter's integrity failed. Communications with mission control grew fragmented, voices cut mid-sentence, and the crew cabin lost pressure almost instantly, leaving no time for escape or response. Around 9 a.m. Eastern Time, roughly 40 miles above the Earth, Columbia disintegrated, the pieces falling across north-central Texas, ending the lives of all 7 astronauts in a catastrophic instant. Long before that final, tragic day, Ramon had carved a remarkable path in Israeli history. Born to Holocaust survivors, he became a distinguished Israeli Air Force pilot, flying in the Yom Kippur and Lebanon wars, and in 1981 participated in Operation Opera, Israel's daring strike on Iraq's nuclear reactor. Selected as Israel's first astronaut, he flew aboard STS-107 as a payload specialist, carrying symbolic items into space, a Torah scroll, a drawing by a Holocaust victim, and a Kiddush cup, representing remembrance and hope. William Anders, the Apollo 8 astronaut, engineer, and former U.S. ambassador to Norway, met a sudden and tragic end on June 7, 2024, at the age of 90. While piloting his vintage Beechcraft T-34 Mentor over the waters of Washington State's San Juan Islands. That morning, the skies were clear and Anders, a skilled and seasoned pilot, took off alone, navigating the small aircraft with the precision and calm born from decades of experience in both space and military aviation. Moments into the flight, witnesses later reported seeing the plane begin a gentle maneuver, but then, without warning, a mechanical failure, possibly involving a clipped wing, turned the routine into disaster. The aircraft suddenly pitched, the nose dipping toward the water, the controls no longer responding as Anders attempted to correct the trajectory. In seconds, the plane went inverted, twisted, and plummeted toward the sea, striking the surface with a violent impact that left no chance for survival. Dive teams later recovered his body from the wreckage, confirming the fatal accident. Long before that final, harrowing moment, Anders had already secured his place in history as a pioneer of human spaceflight, serving as the lunar module pilot on Apollo 8, the first crewed mission to orbit the Moon in 1968. From orbit, he captured the iconic Earthrise photograph, a single image that revealed Earth's fragile beauty to the world and inspired the environmental movement, while he famously remarked, "We came all this way to explore the Moon. And the most important thing is that we discovered the Earth." After NASA, Anders' career spanned leadership in government, including serving as the first chairman of the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission and as ambassador to Norway, as well as executive roles in aviation and defense industries. His lifelong love of flight endured even in retirement, culminating in the very aircraft that claimed his life, reflecting a man who never stopped exploring, never stopped flying. Rick Husband, an American astronaut and commander of the Space Shuttle Columbia mission STS-107, tragically died on February 1, 2003, at the age of 46, when the shuttle disintegrated during re-entry over Texas. The disaster was caused by a piece of foam insulation that broke off the shuttle's external fuel tank during launch 16 days earlier on January 16, 2003, striking the leading edge of Columbia's left wing and damaging its thermal protection system. This breach went undetected while in orbit, leaving the shuttle vulnerable to the extreme heat of atmospheric re-entry. As Columbia returned to Earth, superheated gases penetrated the damaged wing, melting internal aluminum structures and causing the orbiter to lose control. In a matter of seconds, the shuttle broke apart, and the crew cabin rapidly depressurized, exposing Rick Husband and the 6 other astronauts, William McCool, Michael Anderson, David Brown, Kalpana Chawla, Laurel Clark, and Ilan Ramon, to lethal forces. Husband's last transmission, cut off mid-sentence, "Roger, buh," marked the final moments of a mission that had been a successful 16-day scientific flight, completing over 80 experiments. Investigations revealed that the disaster was not caused by pilot error, but by a combination of technical damage and organizational failures within NASA. Past foam strikes had been treated as minor risks, communication barriers prevented critical warnings from reaching management, and schedule pressures led to flawed decision-making. These systemic issues ultimately allowed the fatal damage to go unaddressed. Born in Amarillo, Texas, in 1957, Rick Husband pursued his lifelong dream of becoming an astronaut, earning degrees in mechanical engineering and serving as a fighter and test pilot in the U.S. Air Force with over 3,800 flight hours. He joined NASA in 1994, piloting the first manual docking of a space shuttle to the International Space Station during STS-96 in 1999, and later commanding STS-107. Known for his courage, integrity, and deep Christian faith, Husband was a devoted family man, survived by his wife Evelyn and 2 children.